Okay, I think we're gonna do one more Iran war thing.
Now,
Let's
you may
see.
have heard.
This one is another BBC. Man, I am all about the BBC today. um, this one is about Iran's Kharg Island. Why the U.S. wants to seize Iran's Kharg Island. So, my understanding is that Kharg Island is a very small island in the Strait of Hormuz. Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay. Yeah, it's incredibly tiny. Let me pull it up here for you guys. So here it is, Kharg Island. If you look at this, this is the Strait. Well, the Strait of Hormuz is like kind of down here. Iran's up here. Um, so it's essentially right off the coast of Iran. Um, I've heard of them talking about this. I don't particularly know why. It seems impossible to get control over it. I don't know how you would supply it. I don't know how you wouldn't get like, you know, missile struck every single day as you tried to secure it or whatever. Like, but let's see what this guy has to say. This is why the U.S. wants to seize Iran's Kharg Island. Maybe we'll figure it out.
Of a very small rocky outcrop island about 15 nautical miles off the coast of Iran called Kharg Island. What is its significance and why are the US making plans to potentially try and seize it? Hi, my name's Mikey Kay from the BBC's Security Brief, also a former strategic military planner in the British military. So why is Kharg Island so strategically important to the US? Why are the US trying to seize it? Well, this is why. 90% of Iran's export crude oil comes through that island. 90%. And the reason for that is it's effectively a terminal. And the terminal allows very large tankers that can carry up to 85 million gallons of oil to be able to come up to the terminal quite easily and then come back down the Persian Gulf and out of the Straits of Hormuz out to China. China is the main user of Iranian oil. So why else is it important?
I think China, the they are like 85% or something of the consumer of Iranian oil, if I remember correctly, or something.
It's also the economic lifeline to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the IRGC. And if you take that island and you hold it, then you're effectively cutting off their lifeline, their ability to be able to conduct war. Now, there's been a lot of chatter, both in open source intelligence and online, about the Americans drawing up what's called a concept of operations, a CONOP. And a CONOP
Concept of a plan of an idea.
basically means different courses of action or different ways that the Americans could use their military capability to try and seize that island. So how does that work? Well, we all saw the 160th Night Stalkers in Venezuela. That wasn't just about a helicopter assault operation to pick up Maduro. There were a lot more capability and assets involved. You had suppression of enemy air defense. That's aircraft that effectively can look at the radars of anti-aircraft missiles, and basically as soon as the radar turns on, they can launch a missile off the rail to target that air defense system. You've then got intelligence, so Reapers, MQ-9 Reapers, drones effectively.
This is completely different though. Like Venezuela is nothing compared to Iran in terms of like military capabilities. So analyzing Venezuela, like the Venezuela operation, is literally pointless. Like, what are we talking about? They're completely different. And okay, well, we'll see. Maybe there's something we can glean out of the Venezuela operation. I really don't understand why we're even talking about it in this context.
With really sharp electro-optic cameras and forward-looking infrared cameras that need to be able to sanitize.
Also, we didn't seize a territory in Venezuela. We didn't like go and like uh, take over the capital and then con like control it in perpetuity or whatever, right? Like we kidnapped somebody and then we flew away. Like that's different than trying to seize a territory. So, but I don't know.
The area. And then, of course, you have the helicopters themselves. The helicopters would need to be probably the MH-47 Chinook. That has the biggest range and also can carry the biggest troops. The troops involved would likely be
If there's one thing I know about America, we got some big boys, some big troops out there.
Delta Force, which is the same unit that took part in the Maduro operation. And then you have the MH-60 Black Hawk helicopter. That's more about suppressing enemy fire.
One thing, this is minor, unrelated, but hate this. I hate how much Native American imagery like we use for all of our fucking, flying war crime machines or whatever. It all just reeks of like a slap in the face to the indigenous people that came before us, and I really despise this shit. I really do.
It's more about protecting the MH-47s as they take Delta Force and the Special Force operators in to seize the island. So how would that work? Well, it's 140 nautical miles from Kharg Island to the coast of Kuwait, and helicopters generally travel at about 120 knots, which is 2 miles a minute. That makes it a 70-minute transit from the coast of Kuwait to Kharg Island. However, when the aircraft get there, it's not like they're dropping off and then they're returning straight away. They would have to drop off, and then the MH-60s would likely go into what's called racetracks and orbits. Now, they would be there to lay down suppression of enemy fire in case there was Iranian Guard Corps on the island that were looking to defend it.
There would be. Okay, there would be, yes.
So all in all, with a 70 nautical mile transit to Kharg Island and a certain amount of loiter time,
There's also Iranian missiles, directly to the north of them, that are going to be targeting these things the entire time.
40 minutes and a 70 nautical mile transit back, that's 3 hours in the air. So we're now looking at refuel options. While there is an airbase, or certainly a runway on the island, there would be fuel at that airbase. But if I'm IRGC and I know the Americans were coming, I would probably contaminate that fuel. So as a US operational commander, I wouldn't trust it. But there is another...
Why are they returning? I thought the goal is to take it over. What are they doing? I'm confused.
Another option. Both these helicopters, the MH-47 and the MH-60, they have the ability to air-to-air refuel. What do the Iranians have?
Is this the supply line that they're considering? Trying to do a flying back and forth supply line? Maybe. Maybe. I guess that's the only way that you could possibly get a supply line to this place. But even because you're probably not going to be using ships, I would have to guess. But I don't know, man. That seems a little insane to me, and also insanely costly.
Potentially defend that island. Well, conventionally, they've got ballistic missiles and they've got anti-shipping missiles.
Yep.
But the problem with ballistic missiles is that you don't want to cause collateral damage to the oil export infrastructure on Kharg Island. The Iranians are the masters at asymmetric warfare, asymmetry. So they don't want to destroy things, they want to degrade things. They want to draw this out for as long as possible. And they're using a low cost-benefit ratio. And what that means is that their equipment is very simple and it's mass produced and they can produce it easily. So in terms of an asymmetric threat, what does Iran have? Well, it's got what's called go fast. They're fast attack boats, fast attack craft. You might even see two people on a jet ski, one of them driving and one of them with a rocket-propelled grenade on the back. The point being is that they're hard to target and there can be lots of them. What else does it have? Well, it's got the Shahed 136 drone. That is ubiquitous. The Iranians are thought to have over 50,000 of these Shahed 136s.
50,000. Listen to that number, 50,000. They're probably producing more as we speak right now.
Once again, not hard to target as a singleton, but when you put them up in swarms, it can overwhelm air defenses. And then you've got mines. The problem with mines is that the Iranians have a lot of them. They're not particularly sophisticated.
I don't think they're going to use
them.
them.
What they do is they cause a massive problem for any US maritime patrol vessels coming into the area. And why is that? Well, because as soon as the Iranians say that they've mined Kharg Island, it's then up to the US to prove that the Iranians haven't. And that takes a lot of time, manpower, and resource. The other thing as well is you've got tidal currents inside the Persian Gulf. So even if the US could clear a certain area of the ocean through mine clearance using mine hunters, the currents will then bring other mines back into that area. So there is actually no way on the map of being able to discern and protect a certain area where US vessels can go through. So does this idea of the US assaulting and seizing Kharg Island bring in other players? Now we already know that China are providing large cargo aircraft that have been coming into Iran post Operation Midnight
Oh,
Hammer
yeah.
in June 2025. What they've been bringing into Iran, we don't know. But there are
I
ideas
mean,
that
it's just components to create more hypersonic missiles and more drones. Like I don't think we really have to speculate that hard.
they
Like
could be bringing in ballistic missile capability, surface-to-air missile capability, anti-shipping capability, and also radar systems that aren't as vulnerable to those suppression of enemy air defense aircraft than we think. So they're certainly supporting Iran right now. We know that the US is trying to degrade and destroy Iran's ability to make military capability, its defense industrial base.
it's
So if it can seize
impossible.
Kharg Island, does it have the capability to defend it without damaging the infrastructure? And if it does, what is that going to do to global oil prices? And what's the potential for other actors?
Okay, this all just is more hypothetical make believe. If they try this, if America really tries this, it's going to be a clusterfuck. It is going to be a disaster. I would say I would say dozens of people dying with literally not even like getting a strong not even seizing it. If I had to guess, is what would happen if they tried this shit. Um, the logistical complexity of trying to hold that island that's right off the coast of Iran for like I do not see it happening. Maybe I'll eat my words. Hey, someone, if they want to clip this after it happens or something, go for it. But I do not see that happening.